Once upon a time, there lived a man named Vishnu. He was a jeweler who sold several diamonds to a lot of buyers outside of his nation. People always travel overseas in several ships to reach his destination and to provide the required jewelry. On one fine day, when he was traveling to another nation to sell diamonds, the ship gets hijacked by a bunch of robbers and thieves, and they steal all the jewelry from Vishnu and his associates who were also jewelers. Vishnu decides to go to the king and raise a complaint.
My king, I have been wronged and stolen from in my journey to a neighboring nation. Me and my associates were on a ship while we were hijacked by a bunch of thieves who stole all the jewelry from us. This is affecting us very much financially, and we require to get our jewels back. I hope you can help us in this situation.
Sure. I will most definitely find the thieves and get your jewels back. You need not worry about your jewel anymore. Consider it and return to you.
Thank you very much, my king. I have always been an admirer of yours. I shall leave now.
As both Vishnu and his associate left the palace, the king calls to his newly appointed minister Krishnappa. The king looks at Krishnappa and says like this.
Krishnappa, for some more reason, our nation seems to be the place where all the thieves find themselves in. I don't know why this has been happening before us. Just a while ago, our own minister was a thief as well. Now these jewelers have also been robbed. I want you to find those culprits who stole this man's jewelry and bring him back to me. My king, your wish is my command. I shall go and find these culprits. But I would request you to give me some time, as I have to investigate a lot to find whose these culprits are.
Krishnappa then proceeds to leave to find and investigate who these thieves are. Meanwhile, Vishnu was walking back towards his house. At that time, he meets an old sage who is a priest in that village. The old priest looks at Vishnu and says,
Your sins will not be forgiven anymore in the eyes of our God. The more you pursue these materialistic and superficial gifts of the world, cover the more chances that you will not reach eternity in the afterlife. Your sins will put you beneath the earth.
As soon as he heard the priest say that, he becomes very afraid and fearful. He worries that what the priest said is true. He then looks at the priest and says this to him.
Priest, I do not know what are you talking about. I don't know if I have committed the kind of sins that you are mentioning. In my mind, I am just a humble businessman and a jeweler. I haven't hurt anybody in my lifetime.
How could you know if you have committed any sins when you are so unaware of the world that is around you?
The priest then took his time and meditated and thought about something. Once the priest opened his eyes, he says to Vishnu,
I will take my time and find out exactly what you have done in your lifetime to deserve such a horrendous punishment from the gods. In the meanwhile, what I want you to do right away is to be altruistic and charitable to all the people around you. I want you to serve the needy and feed the poor. If you do not do these things, your life would be in grave danger.
Oh, sure, priest. I will make sure to follow your words immediately. But how can I possibly be charitable to the people when I am not in my house most of the time? I am always outside of my village as I am traveling to several nations.
If you are unable to directly help the poor and needy, you can always have your wife do it for you in your name. In that way, it would be your charity and your generosity that will please the gods.
I will make sure to obey your words, priest. I shall tell my wife to help poor and needy.
Vishnu then worryingly walks back home to meet his wife Shyamala. Vishnu looks at Shyamala and says like this.
Shyamala, I want you to give away all the money that we can possibly give to the people around us who need it and who require it. I want you to feed the hungry and to give the money to the poor. I want you to be generous with all the unnecessary wealth we have.
This makes Shyamala very happy, as she is a woman who loves to help and to be kind to the downtrodden. But she is quite surprised that her husband has had a change of mind. She curiously asks her husband like this. My love, why is it that you want to be charitable to people right now? What happened to you?
A priest told me that I was a sinner as I was obsessed with materialistic and superficial aspects of our world. Therefore, I have been instructed to be charitable as I possibly can. I do not want to take any risk and offend our gods. What is money compared to life? I want to be in the good graces of the God to achieve a good life. As long as I have strength in me, I can make money. So therefore, money is not very important to me right now.
After listening to what Vishnu said, Shyamala is very excited and happy as she likes to help people. She thanks the priest in her heart, and now Vishnu sees his wife Shyamala and says this.
Also, make sure you do your deed indeed the public offering hall in our village. I don't want you to have people in our house because we do not know who they might be and what they might do. There are a lot of robbers and thieves in our nation and we don't have to take any risks.
Sure, I will do all these activities in the public offering hall.
Good.
Shyamala then goes and helps everyone in the village that are poor and needy. She sits outside of the public offering hall and hands over people several items such as clothes, food, money and jewelry. She also offers a lot of donations to various temples around the village and she does her puja. The money that they had slowly started to replenish in huge amounts. Meanwhile, Vishnu come back home after a few weeks. His wife Shyamala is happy to see her husband come back. My love, why do you look so upset? Has something happened to you? I have been doing what you have told me to do, without any fail.
Oh yes, I can see that. My house, which was filled with several of my earnings, now looks absolutely empty. This is quite pathetic. I don't know why I am going through with this in my life.
But isn't this what you wanted? Aren't we going to get a lot of blessings from the gods above because of all the charity that we did? All the money had been replenished.
We have not got any blessings whatsoever. In fact, the business trip that I was in just now has been a terrible experience as I have been wronged and cheated by my own colleagues. I have lost so much money and I have now barely anything to survive. I did absolutely nothing wrong. And when I come back home, this is the horrendous sight that I see. There is nothing in my house. Everything is gone.
I am so sorry for what you have been through. I don't understand why this is going on in our life. I did exactly what you told me to do. Am I the one to blame for the situation?
I told you that in a moment when my brain was completely wrong, but you shouldn't have taken me that seriously. I understand what you were saying, but what you did is way too excessive. You didn't need to spend this much money. From now onwards, I don't want you to give anything to anybody.
Then what about with the blessings that we were supposed to get from the gods above? Wasn't that promised to us by the priest? Where are they? How did you face all these loss?
There were no blessings as such. There was only suffering and pain. I will not do this any longer.
After a while, Vishnu went back to his old ways of being a successful businessman by making several trades and sales of his jewels, whereas his wife completely stopped doing any charity or help for the poor and needy whatsoever. Soon, Vishnu started to make all the money that he wanted. The losses that he faced prior was in vain now, as he made double the amount that he had lost. One day, he met the priest who had two of his assistants with him. Vishnu gets really upset and says this to the priest.
Priest, why did you say such horrendous thing to me before? All you said was nothing but a lie. You have completely misguided me into doing stupid things. I lost a lot of money because of you and I did not get any blessings.
My son, you still haven't learned from your mistakes. I don't think you have changed in your path at all, and you have offended the gods.
As soon as Vishnu heard what the priest said, he gets extremely frustrated and he says,
You are nothing but a charlatan. You are a liar and a cheat. It is because of men like you that several men lost their money and their hopes. I should not have listened to a mystical idiot like yourself.
Why are you so upset? Tell me exactly what had happened. Then I'll tell you why you did not receive any blessings.
After you warned me about my sins that day, I gave all the money that I had and all the things that I possessed to the poor and needy. But I did not receive anything in return from the gods. But now I am rich again. I told her to stop all the charity that she was doing and I have made a lot of money.
Vishnu then takes out his bag of diamonds and shows it to the priest and his assistants. The priest looks at the diamonds closely and he says nothing. Vishnu then says this to the priest like this.
Now I tell you, men like you should never ever exist. I blame the king for having three like yourself in this nation.
Yes, my son, you're right. I am not needed in this nation.
After listening to what Vishnu said, the priest slowly removes his outfit and his beard and reveals himself to be the minister Krishnappa, and his two assistants removes their disguises and reveal to be the guards of the nation. All three of them arrest Vishnu and takes him to the king. Once the king sees Vishnu, he says,
What is this, Krishnappa? I told you that Vishnu was the man who has been robbed. But why have you brought him towards me and arrested him?
I shall tell you that right away, my king. This man that claims to be a jeweler is actually a charlatan. He is a jeweler, but he sells fake jewelry and he makes money from the vulnerable people who cannot tell the difference between a real and a fake jewel. And the robbery that he claims that has happened to him is also something that he had orchestrated himself.
That is absolutely disappointing. May I know how you came to this conclusion? Because this seems to be a very steep and heavy accusation.
Yes, my king, I shall explain that to you at once. If you can give me permission, I would like to bring his assistant Django.
Okay, I have given you my permission. Bring him here immediately.
The guards of the palace bring the Vishnu's assistant Django. They bring this man in front of the king, and as soon as Vishnu looks at Django, he feels ashamed and he puts his head down in guilt. Krishnappa says like this.
Now look at me, Django. I want you to tell me exactly what happened on the day of the robbery. Make all your points clear to the king.
Sure, sir. I shall tell you. I apologize, my king. I feel ashamed to be here. I am here to confess everything that I have committed. I was driven and attracted to his wealth and power. He used me to accomplish several of his illegal and criminal activities. One fine day, he called me and said this. Listen to me. What I am about to tell you is a very important and serious task. I do not want you to utter a word about this to anybody. Okay? You can trust me with your words. What would you like me to do for you? Listen to me, Django. I have a good idea. Next week we are about to make a lot of money by creating a fake robbery. There are going to be several other businessmen in the ship with me, and you are going to make sure that you steal all of our jewels. How are we exactly going to execute this plan? All the jewelry that I have bought from the other nations are fake. As soon as the ship is about to land, I want you to hijack it and make sure that you steal all of our jewels. And in that way, we can take the real jewelry from all the other businessmen and make a lot of money from it. And after that, I shall go to the king myself, along with these other businessmen, and I shall complain to him. That is a very smart plan. You are a very intelligent individual that knows how to make a lot of money with ease. Fine, I want you to make sure that nobody else knows about this. I want you to execute this plan perfectly. And after that, we stole all the jewelry from the other businessman and we pretended to not know anything. We then came to you and complained to you as if we were the ones being robbed.
After listening to everything, the king looks at Vishnu and asks him,
Do you have anything to say, Vishnu? As you have been proven to be a criminal?
My king, I have nothing to say, my king, and I know that I have been caught red-handed. But if it is permissible, may I ask a question to Krishnappa why he cheated acting like a priest? That's all, my king.
Sure, you can ask him all the questions you want. Krishna is a man who can answer anything.
Thank you so much, king. Krishnappa, what was your purpose in pretending to be a priest and telling me all those things that you told? I want to know why you did that, Krishnappa.
Vishnu, how can I possibly know for sure if you were a charlatan who sold fake jewelry? I could not answer this question by myself, and I was only suspicious and I had no evidence. That is why I came to you and accused you of sinning. I did it so that I wanted to know if you had a lot of guilt inside your heart. As soon as I saw you give away all the money you had to the poor and needy, I realized that you are a man who knows that you have committed a grave sin in your life. There is no reason for anybody to react that way and give away all the money that they have, unless they feel like they are thieves themselves.
But Krishnappa, what about the blessings that you have told me that I would receive? I did not get anything like that.
Yes, you did. But in my eyes, it is just compensation for all the fake jewelry that you stole, and the blessings is your arrest. This arrest and punishment will make you a better man. That is your blessing.
My king, I apologize for all the crimes that I have done. I agree that I was wrong in my ways and I promise to never do it again. But if you would like to punish me, I am more than willing to accept it, my king.
The king then puts both Vishnu and Django in a prison and they have to serve for several years as prisoners. The king then congratulates his minister Krishnappa on his intelligence and his wisdom. If you like this story, do like it, share it. For more news stories, please subscribe our New Stories Book English YouTube channel.